What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about 3 tips for wide receivers to be unguardable in one-on-one. So I hope this video helps you guys out. I hope it could teach you a few new things about how to win one-on-one matchups, whether it's a one-on-one situation or a one-on-one live game situation. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to know the drills you should be working on to improve your route running, your press releases, your hands, things of that nature, check out that very first link in the description below where you can get access to a 2-month daily wide receiver on-field workout plan. What it is, we give you over 200 plus wide receiver drills broken down into a daily schedule with sets, reps, and a video example of each exercise. So check out that very first link below if interested, fellas. Let's get started. So this first route here that we're going over is going to be a whip route on the goal line against inside shade. And the first way for you guys to always make sure that you're getting separation to be that unguardable receiver is changing tempo. So that's the first thing we're talking about today. So let's play this full speed. So this wide receiver comes off and he has this slow tempo, then he bursts. Now the tempo change is a great way to throw this DB off, to get him to stop his feet, and to get him to overreact. So when we have a route like this, let's talk about this specific route, then I'll give you some other examples. We have an inside shade coverage DB who's about 5 yards off on the goal line. So we know that he is trying to not give up what when he's inside shade? Trying to give up the slant. If you guys are familiar with our page, what we talk a lot about leverage, right? So he's inside leverage. That means that he's trying to take away the inside. He's trying to force this receiver to the outside. So obviously when I decide to go with my route, he's going to be running a whip route. I want to threaten him with the slant. That's what a whip route does in general. That's what I want to go about with my move. But the tempo change is what forces the overreaction out of this DB. So he comes off and he has this very slow tempo. Now, when you have a slow tempo, that DB is not going to be backpedaling out of there crazy fast. He's going to slow down his tempo as well. So when I change tempo, so does the DB. So when he changes his tempo, he starts to slow down. He's flat-footed, and I could sell the inside route. And that 0 to 100 burst forces a reaction out of this DB. It's no different if you guys were in the middle of the field and let's say we had this DB lined up inside shade. Let's say maybe you attack him, you burst up on the route, you change tempo, then you accelerate, and then you snap down and run a hitch. It's the same type of tempo change. When you're able to go from 0 to 100, that forces that reaction to the DB, and that can get me separation. So fellas, when you're in these one-on-one situations, you change tempo to get that reaction, but to make sure we don't let the DB get a handle on my speed. If you guys are running the same route, the same speed over and over and over again, and you don't change tempo, that DB will start to understand that later in the game, later in the practice, whenever it is. Throw the tempo change in there to change up his flow. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job at this wide receiver changing tempo and then getting separation on that whip. All right, so the second thing that I want to talk about that's going to help you guys be unguardable in one-on-one situations is getting skinny on routes. So we're going to be showing a bad example of this from Tyreek Hill, and then we're going to be showing a good example of this from a wide receiver out of Memphis. So let's play this full speed. So we got outside shade press, and he's running a corner route. So let's play it full speed, then we'll break it down. So he goes here, but he takes a very wide inside release. And you see how this is locked up. This is great. White is in a great position to make a play. Patrick Mahomes threw a absolutely perfect ball. But if that ball is put anywhere else, that DB's got a chance to make a play. He's not open. That is just a perfect throw. There's no defense for a perfect throw. So let's talk about how he could have gotten more separation on this. So when this DB's lined up outside shade, you never want to force the outside release, right? So Hill did that. He did the right thing, but there's knowing what to do, and then there's knowing how to do it correctly. So he's outside shade. We're not going to force the outside release. Just like the last example we talked about, DB's inside shade, this DB's outside shade. What's he trying to prevent? He's trying to prevent the outside route. He's trying to prevent the fade. He's trying to prevent the corner. He's trying to force everything to the inside. So, okay, as a receiver, I'm going to give him something to maybe freeze him to the outside, and I'm going to take what he gives me. Now, when I do this, though, my main goal needs to be what? Restack. When you take the inside release on an outside route, you should be trying to restack and have this DB trailing your back hip. But because Hill takes this wide angle like this, he still has to get up to a specific depth. Let's say this corner is at 12 yards, right? He's lined up on let's say he's on the 40, for example, just to make it easier. That's 5, 10, that breaks at 12 yards. So if he takes a really wide stem, he still has to get to 12 yards. And that DB has a better angle getting to 12 yards because we didn't stay skinny. And what I mean by skinny is after this release, going hip to hip with him. What Hill should have done is he should have swat this arm or he just could have dipped underneath with the left arm and stayed tight. And if you're able to restack on a corner like this, that is such an easy throw for the QB. But because he took this wide angle, you see all that 27 has to do is be able to recover. He just has to take the 45 angle to the corner, and he's in a great position to make this play. Mahomes put it in a perfect spot. But if that ball's underthrown, White's probably picking it off. It's thrown a little bit downhill, White's probably making a play on it. It has to be hip to hip, and we have to get skinny on every single route, whether it's inside breaking or outside breaking. Like, let's say, for example, he had to run a post right here, and he does this. DB's outside shade because why? He has help inside. So if you have to run like a post route, and let's say you take the inside release, but you just run away from him and break off to the post, you're running right to the help. You want to try to get hip to hip to create a bigger throwing window for the QB if it's inside breaking and if it's outside breaking. So let's play this full speed one more time, and then we will show a good example of this and how you guys can try to be successful with that restack and be able to get separation and not give the DB a good angle. So same concept here. Now this is in the red zone, so even more so, it's harder to get separation over the top because it's in the red zone. You don't have as much space to work with down here. So we have outside shade press. This wide receiver is going to be running a corner route. So what do you think he should do? Before I play this clip, what do you think he should do based on this press release look? Probably attack him, right? I probably want to attack his leverage outside, trying to get him to hold the outside leverage, take the free inside release, and my goal is to work to restack. So if I can't restack, I'm probably going to work something like a throw by. But restacking is obviously the best way to go about it, especially on a corner. So let's play at full speed. So he comes off, does his crossover, but you see how tight he's able to stay. There is not a big gap between the two of them because when it comes to man coverage, fellas, when it comes to being unguardable, it comes down to the angle that you take more often than not. So he comes off the ball. You see how he attacks the DB's leverage, attacks him wide. What does he do after this? He's staying low, and he is staying, what do we call that? Hip to hip with the DB. Because when you get straight up vertical and you don't take a wide angle like so, you can actually get to the top of the break point with this DB trailing you. And when that DB's trailing you, you could give a hard head fake, head and shoulder fake inside. You could break off of that cut. And now we not only have space to the corner to accelerate because we took the inside release, but I can get separation. Imagine if he made this break maybe 2 yards over here because he took a wider stem and he didn't get skinny. That corner, even if we get this guy to hesitate a second, is still going to be running into him. You still gave him space to recover. We want to give this DB absolutely no space to recover when I'm working that restack. Same idea if I'm running a post, a dig, a corner. Even if you're running a fade, you want to stay hip to hip so you could restack and the QB can fade you out wide. It is about knowing how to react off that DB's leverage, but having the technique to be able to get open. Make sure, fellas, that when we are running routes and we have this press coverage look, it's a one-on-one. To be unguardable, you have to understand getting skinny on your routes. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job of this wide receiver staying skinny, getting that DB on his hip, and giving the QB space to throw him open. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like a full 2-month wide receiver on-field workout schedule with over 200+ wide receiver drills you can do on a day-to-day basis, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.